All right, what's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Eric Noltowski Art. Today, I'd like to continue. It's been a few week break, but I'd like to continue doing my recommendations in my artist spotlight. So today, we're gonna check out some work by John Romita Jr. And I got two favorites that I'm gonna recommend to you. So let me do this. Let me get well, here first, let's take a look at Shadow Sentry. Let's see how that's doing real quick. We'll do a quick update on that, and then we'll get started. How's that sound? So let me do a quick screen share. Boom. All right, so we are 5 days in. We have 54 backers right now, and we're at 38.12. All right. Cool deal. Still waiting on colors for the two covers for mine and Mike's. I'm almost done page 6 inks, and I'm almost done with the page 7 rough. And I'll show that to you guys in a second. But there we have it. So doing pretty good. I'll be on Drawn and Quartered tonight, so do some more promoting there. And I've got 2 interviews lined up for next week with some guys I know that do podcasts and stuff. So just got to keep promoting and get the word out about the Shadow Sentry. And also I'm going to drop off a bunch of handouts to local comic shops so people know what is going on. All right, let's get back to the screen. I will show you, this is the page breakdown layout for page 7. Did this a little bit yesterday. Finished up that, so you kind of see what's going on there. Bada boom. All right. So there is that. And yeah. So yeah, and like I said, page 6 is almost done. So after I do our quick little recommendations and go check out some art by John Romita Jr., I'll probably do some more inking. So, all right, let me get my camera set up and we'll take a look at these books real quick. All right, got my camera set up, get my light on. All right, good deal. All right, so first, 2 of my favorites. This is Cable, number 1 and 2 by John Romita Jr. Written by Fabian Nicienza, something like that. Nicienza. I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyway, he did the story, and these are just great. It's a 2-issue, kind of like, one-shot type deal. But I checked the page count. These books are both like 48 pages. So they're like total double size. So that's awesome. You don't have like all the advertisements and stuff in there, like the Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. It's like that stuff's not on every other page, which is nice. And what I love about the book is just like there's so much action, so much going on, so many splash pages and double page spreads of just Cable and all the awesome action. So let me open this up real quick. And if you guys have not read this, I did look on, I just checked out to see if it's available, if you can get it. I don't know if you can get it in your local comic shop, but there we go. 3rd page in, enormous, awesome double page spread with the 6-pack and Cable. So really awesome stuff. There's a huge like full page shot of Cable that is on the back side of the front cover, and it's like awesome. I remember drawing this in elementary school because I was like, that is so cool. Got a bunch of headshots by different artists: Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, I think, where's that? There's some by Mike Mignola, and you got Greg Capullo over there, and then these are JR, John Romita Jr. So there you go. So yeah, really cool stuff. Again, I mean, awesome hat tip to Rob Liefeld for creating such a cool character, time traveling cyborg, and he's the son of Scott Summers. So very cool. This book has Strife in it, and I had to go back and look at the date because I was like, okay, I remember the Executioner song run that they did, and that had a lot to do with Strife. So I'm like, oh, I wasn't sure if this was before or after, but actually this was published before, actually the month before the Executioner song. So once they started that, it was Uncanny X-Men 294, I think it was. And this came out in October of 92. That came out in November of 92. So, like, right in the midst of it. So this kind of gives you some of the background to that whole 12-issue story arc that they did, which is really cool. I remember looking at the very last issue. Greg Capullo drew it, and he's got this massive battle between Cable and Strife. Just awesome stuff. So that was my first introduction to Greg Capullo, and I remember loving that stuff. There's good stuff. So, all right, so that is this 2-issue series of Cable, and then as you recall, right after this is when Art Thibert did Cable #1, and they started his ongoing series. This is what kicked that off. So just so much cool stuff going on. They're like doing a hunt for these artifacts, but again, just lots of splash pages, double page spreads of the 6-pack and Cable just with his huge guns. I love the way John Romita Jr. just draws the guns and stuff. They're just like huge, and yeah, really cool style, very three-dimensional, and you can't miss it. Like, it's kind of like Frank Miller. Once you see it, it's like, yeah, I know who that is. I know who does that. So, all right. So that is Cable 1 and 2. I would definitely recommend that. If you have not, check that out. If you've not read it, do it. Do it. All right. Then the other series that I read by John Romita Jr. that I really liked is Punisher Warzone #1. So he drew the first 8 issues of this, and I don't recall if it's all one story, but I remember it being like a pretty long story. Him taking on like these drug dealers, and he goes undercover and stuff. But yeah, really cool story. Definitely recommend this one. I did see this one online, but this is probably one that you could probably find in like the bins, old back issue bins at your local comic shop. But if not, I'm sure you can find it online as well. But this one was actually written by Chuck Dixon, inked by Klaus Janson, I think. Yeah, and then I think the later issues, I think I saw I opened one up and Joe Rubenstein was doing the inking on those. So then there's Janson, Klaus Janson. He's inked Frank Miller on a lot of stuff. But yes, sir. So anyway, if you like Punisher, if you like guns, guts, and glory, pick up Punisher Warzone. Really good stuff. All right, so there you go. And again, maybe get like the first 4 or 5, read it, and see if, oh, the story still continues. And there you go. It doesn't say like part 1, part 2, so I don't know if it's all one story or what. But after issue 9, that I do have, another artist picks up on it. So there you go. Alrighty, folks. There you have it. I'm not doing a deep dive on John Romita Jr. I just wanted to... you have that one? Yeah, that's some good stuff. Just give you some recommendations. John Romita Jr. has been around for a long time, done a lot of stuff, so I'm sure he's done a lot of cool books. Those are just ones that I read and that were just kind of like stuck out to me. So those are my recommendations. Yeah. So I will fiddle around and think about some other ones I could recommend to you next week, next Wednesday. I like to do this on a weekly basis. But yeah, all right. Let's get to some drawing, shall we? I'm going to be finishing up the rough for page 7 for Shadow Sentry. Show you what I got here so far. Dun, dun, dun. We cut back to Vengeant and Noble here, and there's an explosion in the background, and then Ember and Torture come walking back, and they tell them the bad news that there's an explosion and Valora and the baby didn't make it. And then he's yelling at him, and then punches him in the face. End of scene. I did want to. I switched this one. I tried something a little different, but I went with this angle instead rather than a side profile, because I thought you don't really know who he's yelling at. Is he yelling at him or is he yelling at Vengeant? But I wanted him yelling at Vengeant because he's the one that punches him, and he's the one that he blames Vengeant for the death of his wife and baby. So I put, his face kind of looking forward, and then have Vengeant's hand there at least, so you know who he's yelling at. Semi close up because it's a lot of anger and passion built up. And then it'll have the dialogue up here, so you can look at him, look up here, and then kind of lead your eye to the next panel, and then bam, punches him in the face. So there you go. So that is what I'll be finishing up. Still got to draw some lines for my perspective lines. It's nice when you can see an artist's style and you can recognize them at a glance. Yeah, that's nice. You could definitely do that with John Romita Jr. Definitely with like a Mike Miller, or not a Mike Miller. Who am I thinking of? Frank Miller, the other Miller, Frank Miller. Styles like that, just easily recognizable. Yes, indeedy. I didn't take a look at what his father, John Romita Sr., I didn't take a look at what his style looked like, but I'd imagine it was kind of more like that old Marvel style, kind of like the Sal Buscema kind of style, Jack Kirby, but I didn't really look it up, so I don't know. All right, where's my ruler? And I look forward to the day when my style gets refined enough that it's easily recognizable. Because a lot of artists don't, they start out drawing one way, or they have a favorite artist that they kind of look at, and their style looks like that artist, and then they just kind of bust out with their own look. Travis Charest was one of those guys who, when he picked up on the Wildcats in issue like 13 or whatever, kind of had that West Coast Jim Lee type style, and then like all of a sudden it was like boom, like he came out of nowhere with this awesome new style, and yeah, really cool. So I'll get there. I'm excited for the simple fact that I think I'm doing my best work right now, but then to think like, oh man, I'm gonna at some point come up with something totally different and something totally new and have a different style going. That'd be pretty cool. Yes, indeed. So let's see. I'm just gonna put in the perspective lines, and then when I print it out on blue line on 11x17, I can kind of fiddle around and just figure out how I want the buildings to look exactly. But for now, I'm just gonna throw down these lines. I should just do a big grid like everybody else does typically, but I don't want to. Sometimes I have trouble seeing, like, if I just see a big grid, it's like, oh man, I can't see what, like, what I want to do. Like, I want to vary the buildings. I want to throw like a ledge here, a pop out here, and I can't see it if all I'm looking at is a big grid. So I kind of prepare myself and just kind of throw down various lines, not just like a grid shape. Do like different stuff so I can figure it out. You know, bust out a water tower on the top here, or just chimneys, just so it's not a straight, flat, uninteresting kind of building top look. All right, and then these buildings, I'm gonna come over here. All right. And then this is kind of a weird angle because he's standing behind him, but I want to get the side of his head in the shot. So I kind of, his arm, his hand, like up here, should be grabbing his arm, and then I'm just gonna have a really extreme view, extreme like angle of his arm, something like that. But it'll probably be mostly black. But just to kind of hint at, you know, it is there, because it should be there. We're kind of under this guy's armpit, I think, or something. But yeah. All right, so that should do it for the building tops. Let me finish off this one over here. That explosion is kind of coming right over the tops. All right. That should do it. Finish this off. Ish a big explosion. All right, there we go. Cool deal. Bode and Brahm, who does oil painting, are for me that stick out as unique styles you instantly recognize. Never heard of them. Bode and Brahm. New artist I have started to follow on Facebook is Tim Lord. Yes, he has a very detailed and wild, weird style. Tim Lord. I think I've heard of him. Tim Lord. I will have to check them out after the stream. Yeah. There's a lot of artists today, especially with DC. A lot of the DC artists kind of have that Jim Lee look. A little bit. I think they're getting away from it. They're kind of doing more of the what is the gosh, I can't even think of their name now. Yeah, I think they're that because you have that whole crew of like Wildstorm artists that came over from Image, or from, you know, Wildstorm, when Wildstorm merged with DC, and of course now that Jim Lee is a big editor and stuff, you know, they got Tony Daniel, who's doing the Batman stuff, and he's got that very classic Wildstorm look. I remember when he was doing the 10th back in the day. That was a fun book. But yeah, I think, you know, there's so many different styles out there now. I really like Clayman and Olivier, what's his name? Olivier Copiel. I think that's how you say his name. But I like those styles. They use lots of blacks and yeah. And then there's some new favorites of mine are Stuart Immonen and Pepe Larraz. I think, is it Larraza? Larraza. I just picked up this book actually at the Hawaii Comic-Con. Pepe Larraza. Deadpool versus X-Force. Just some really cool stuff. So, yo. This was a fun book. Deadpool's going back in time, changing history, and Cable goes back to stop him. But like they're in the Civil War, they're in World War II, they're in the Revolutionary War, so it's kind of fun, interesting idea. So anyway, this is very like loose and fun, but still like dynamic, not super detailed. I like how he uses lots of black and just really good, interesting style. Fun to look at, fun to read. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the newer artists aren't so detailed as as they were. But it's all good. Nighthawk Warrior, hello Eric, what's up? I have to say, what I like about your streams is your actual work you do for your comic. I get to see what your process and your thoughts are as you work. Yes, I recommend you look up all three of those artists. Von Bode is old school. He passed away way too young and is an inspiration to many graffiti artists. Oh, cool. Nice. What's up, Nighthawk? What's going on? Yeah, graffiti art. That's one thing I cannot do. Actually, when I was in Hawaii, the guy I was rooming with, he said that there was this huge area, like an industrial area where, I don't know if it was a competition. I think he said it was a competition where they just, have graffiti artists come over and they do this competition and tag up like all this one section. And some of it they actually will leave up. And he was showing me pictures of it. But pretty cool stuff. Graffiti art is a totally different art form, but it is art. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to do this panel. I'll be done with that. Again, this is Ember and Torture walking back from the explosion area. Torture here is injured and his look will change the next time we see him. I don't know why I decided to do that, but because I remember when I first drew out his look, his outfit, his uniform, everything was like totally different. And then, so yeah, I don't know, I guess just to make it interesting. More of like a how did he get that crazy look that he has now? And this kind of explains a little bit. So that must have been what I was thinking. Must have been it. Mighty Geek Studios, what's going on? Eric, what are you drawing? I am doing a rough out on page 7 of my book, Shadow Sentry. And Mighty Geek Studios. Shadow Sentry is my book up on Indiegogo right now. It's an X-Men meets the Matrix superhero team book. And it is currently funding. It's going to be a 48-pager. And it's my superhero X-Men-y kind of book. yeah, the first 5 pages are up on the campaign lettered. You can check those out. You can read more about it. But yeah, so I'm just working on it, man. This is page 7. Page 6 is almost done inking. I have a little bit more to go, but I wanted to kind of get rolling on the next page. This is page 6. This is Valora here. This is Ember and Torture as they're going after her, and she's hiding the baby in a orphanage / church type place. So yeah, and then she has like kind of witch like magical powers, so she's masking the front of the building and turning it into like a construction area, so they don't think, oh, she hid the baby in the orphanage. She's just kind of masking it. So I gotta fill in all that stuff too. But there it is. There's page 6. So, who won Gary's t-shirt for 250 backers? Ray Thulu. Way to go, Ray Thulu. Awesome, man. Oh, speaking of which, it's Wednesday. I should probably announce the winner of my newsletter naming competition. Let me turn on my computer. Or actually, maybe I can go to... Hold on, let me see if I can find the link real quick. I'm guessing that it would be from the Shadows. That's who was leading last time. And let me check it out, where it is currently at. Boom, 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 boom. All right, let's check it out. The straw poll. Best newsletter title for Shadow Sentry. All right, so you guys will be the first to know. No, I don't want to vote. I already voted. Results. From the Shadows, it is 39%. The Sentry Dispatch came in right behind it with 20%. 8 votes. So, from the Shadows, it is. Yeah. I'm trying to remember who gave me that one. Let me see. I have it written down over here. That one was from Floyd Phonetic. Floyd Phonetic. And I believe he wrote that. He sent that one on Twitter. So I had people send in submissions from all over the place. I said to do it via email, but you know, people do what they want. So he sent that one on via Twitter. So Floyd Phonetic is the winner, and he's going to get a print with a remark. He's going to get his name and his newsletter title in the book. Book 1, Shadow Sentry Into the Eternal, baby. So, yeah, thanks for everybody sending in your ideas, your recommendations for that. And, yeah. If you didn't win, I do apologize. But there can be only one. King Crow, what's up? Caw-caw. Koi, caw-caw. Ahoy. That was confusing. Caw-caw, ahoy. There, Eric, ahoy, chat. You voted yesterday. Thank you for voting. Afternoon, Eric. Captain Hiltz, what's going on? Awesome, awesome. So yeah, so the first issue of Shadow Sentry, the newsletter, I'll just kind of have I'll have the title, I'll announce the winner, and then it'll be the thank you page. But in future issues, it'll be devoted to fan art, to comments, if you guys want to write in, and just kind of a way to, you know, bring back that old fun newsletter that they used to do in old school comics. You can write in with your thoughts, and I can answer you and all that kind of fun stuff. So that'll be cool. And if you do want to write in, just email me at shadowsentrycomic@gmail.com. Super easy. And yeah, depending on how many I get, I won't be able to put everybody's in there, but you know, I don't think I'm going to have that many at first anyway. But I did receive some fan art by our own Nighthawk Warrior. Thank you, Nighthawk. I got that, and if I can fit it, I'll put it in book 1, buddy. I will put it in there. And he's got these things on his pants. And I think you posted a video on that too. Did you do that on YouTube? Did you post up your video in case anybody wants to watch it? If anybody wants to watch Nighthawk Warrior drawing Brazen and the Angel Evangelion, excuse me, you can check that out. Is this page 7? Yes, it is. I saw all 3 of your videos for page 6. Awesome, man. Yeah, I recorded them on Monday, and then I started uploading them. And for some reason, my phone, when I record on my phone, it splits the videos. I don't know if it's my SD card, like it just can't handle all the gigabytes. I don't know what, but it split them up on me. I was gonna upload them all to my computer and then splice them all together and do one big video. And I was like, that's gonna take too much time, so I just started uploading them, and I didn't get done uploading them till, it was like super early in the morning on Monday night. So that's why they kind of came out really early. Zachary, sorry about that. So, because you mentioned that they came out really early in the morning, and that is why. All right. All right. So this page, you'll actually see Ember in his normal looking form. After he turns off the flames, he just kind of looks like dried up lava or something, just hardened rock. So something like that. That's what I'm thinking. So lots of cracks, and just his skin will be like it's hard to do black unless he was like all black and then white lines. But I'm thinking he'll be like a dark blue with cracks all over him. Let's draw some cracks, crevices. But then the question is he naked? I haven't quite figured that one out yet. He possibly could be. And in this panel, he's covering himself up with this, the cloth that the baby was wrapped in. So I haven't figured it out yet. So I'm just gonna cover him up in case he is. I don't know if he has any flame retardant or anti-flame clothes yet. I don't know if he's got them on. I haven't figured that one out. Awesome. Nighthawk Warrior has 20 views on his Shadow Sentry fan art video. Woo woo! Way to go, man. Super duper. And then Torture over here is going to be, have to figure out the extent of his damage. If I'm going to make him bloody or burnt or what. So but as you can tell, his all of his gear is gone. But he should still be recognizable from his belt and his bottom half, at least in this panel anyway. And then here he's kind of like in the background, but again I gotta damage him up and figure all that out. All right, cool. I have 378 subs currently. Dang, way to go, man. That's awesome. You're beating me, man. Eric, if you ever take part in the 24-hour comic book day challenge, it helps to have the script planned out ahead of time. I would imagine so. I've heard of that. I have not done that. Is there a set number of pages you do? King Crow, I'm about to do my workout, and then I'll do some art before I go to work. Awesome, man. Good luck with the workout. Something I should probably do. Should work out more. I'm getting fat. Eric, is that captain? Is that captain? I don't know what you mean. Who is captain? Are you thinking of Commander Noble? Who's captain? I don't know captain. All right. Yeah, if I was gonna do a 24-hour comic book, I would change my style. I would do something a lot more cartoony. Or at least, you know, leave it like this and not, you know, not finalize it, I guess. But either way, would be fun. I've not done the 24-hour comic challenge. Alright, so this is Vengeant down yonder. And Noble. And these guys are, you know, far away, so they're going to be smaller. So I'm trying not to get too crazy on the detail. As long as their proportions are right. And that's all I'm going for right now. I always start planning the book in January, and by October I'll have a script written out. Oh, that's smart. Commander, yes. Are you drawing him currently? Commander Noble? So this is Noble. But the thing is, at this point in the story, he's not known as Commander Noble yet. He's just Robert Michael Noble, who is fleeing from the Hellborn and trying to protect his newborn son with Valora. So he becomes Commander Noble once he kind of takes the lead of Shadow Sentry. So, and I just went with Commander Noble because has that military kind of persona. He's, you know, kind of fled the military, but then he takes command of the Shadow Sentry. So, but at this point, he's just Robert. So, yeah. So you'll find out, you know, later what's going on with him. But his backstory, I'd have to do like a whole separate thing for. But it's definitely something I want to do. And maybe do like a little, you know, in the beginning of the next book or something, do a little flashback again and kind of give you more information on that. Or just do a totally separate story for all that military background stuff. It will be, actually, after the first story arc, it's going to get heavily into, you know, that background of him, what's going on with the military people, because he got his powers while he was in the military. So once the military gets wind of, oh wow, this guy has powers, you know, and I allude to it in the page 4, where Vengeance says, you know, we took you in, we protected you from those government goons. You know, if not for us, you would still be their lab rat. You know, so they have this guy on their hands who's indestructible, and they're like, what? Like, we need to duplicate this. We want indestructible warriors. So he ends up fleeing and getting away from them, but that's how he finds the Hellborn. So, you know, there's just a lot of backstory to get into for his character, but yeah. So, anywho, Rob Liefeld created a character called the Pouch. I know. Give me a break, Rob. Come on, man. we just talked about Cable, though. Cable was awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Rob created Strife as well, who appears in the book I was just talking about earlier. I was recommending. If you guys weren't here, I kind of went over these two books, Cable 1 and 2. Awesome, awesome story and art. John Romita Jr. And yeah, and then I talked about it was Punisher Warzone that John Romita Jr. did, issues 1 to 8, I believe. So those were my recommendations today. But in that book, Strife has a big part. And then also right after those books is when they did the Executioner's Song. It like spanned, it was 3-issue run they did, and it was like X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, X-Factor, and X-Force. And that had Strife in it as well. So, yep. So, can't say that I love the pouch, Rob, but I appreciate Cable and Strife and all those Deadpool, all those awesome characters you created. I appreciate that. Thank you. The pouch. And doesn't his gun shoot pouches? Like, what? Yeah. So, anywho. And Rob Liefeld was only like 18 years old when he started working for Marvel, so kudos to him, man. Yes, sir. All right, so do I want a hand here? I was thinking of putting his hand and he can be holding on to the cloth or something here. I did see, because I was looking up when the Cable series was published and then when Executioner's Song came out. I wasn't sure if it came out before or after, but Cable 1 and 2 came out, and then right after that, the Executioner's Song came out. And then I saw it on, I think you can get the whole collected version of the Executioner's Song on Amazon for, I think it was 22 or 25. So I was like, I have the whole series in comic book form, but I was like, you know what? That might be cool to have in a trade. It's just easier when reading. But, yeah. I like the trades. I got a trade of Battle Chasers not too long ago that Joe Mad did. That's a good one to have in trade form. What else? I just got the Deadpool versus X-Force trade. That one was fun. I saw an image of Deadpool that Pepe Larraza drew, and I was like, dude, that's flipping awesome. Like, what is that from? And so I did a little research, and I came across that book, so I had to get that. And I actually ordered the single issues online, and then I just saw the collected edition, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get that too. Boom, boom, boom. Executioner's Song was a great crossover event, very well written. Yes, sir. It's a joke character made of pouches. Yeah. The pouch. For background stories, I love George R. R. Martin's Wild Card series of books. He has a more adult content. He cannot wait to see that come out as a TV series. I cannot wait to see that come out as a TV series. Have they talked about it? Are they going to do that? Wild Cards. I've never heard of that. Back when Greg Capullo was drawing X-Force? Yes, sir. Yeah, I think the first time I saw Greg Capullo's work was that last issue of the Executioner's Song when Cable and Strife were going at it and just like getting destroyed. That was my first introduction to Capullo. I was like, yeah. I was loving that. That was good stuff. All right. Getting back to the 24-hour comic day challenge thing. So it takes place in October. I take it. I'm usually trying to do Inktober. So that's probably why I never did it. But we'll see what I'm doing this year. See if I can do it. I've got other stories I've created, so maybe I could just kind of do like a abridged version of that or something. Does it have to be a set number of pages, or is it just whatever? Nighthawk Warrior, have you ever done the 24-hour comic book challenge? Have you ever done it, man? All right. Now the buildings, and I'll be done. Oh, and then I don't know if you guys were here, but I'm going to change this panel actually from the profile kind of yelling to this. So that way we know who he's yelling at, because if I just do this kind of profile look, he could be yelling at him, but I want you, the reader, to know that he's blaming Vengeance. So I kind of stick his hand in the panel there, and then I kind of have the dialogue here. You look at his face, you look over the hand, and then it should just lead you right into the crack. You bust him in the face. So that's what I was thinking. 24 pages in 24 hours. Got it. Okay. Were you aware Dan Fraga is launching his old image title Black Flag through crowdfunding soon? I did hear about that, and so it sounds like it's going to happen. That's cool. I would definitely back that. That'd be cool. Capullo knocked that final battle. Strife vs. Cable, Cyclops, and Jean. Killer work. Yeah. That was so good. Boom, boom. My second favorite Greg Capullo comic is called Reborn, published by Image Comics. Yep. The Mark Millar run. It's coming to Hulu. It's a long novel series based on comic tropes. Huh, cool. An alien comes to Earth to stop a virus, but it's only partially successful. The virus causes humans to mutate in various ways. Nice. Mighty Geek Studio says you can sign up to participate online or at a participating comic shop. Huh. Is it like a contest, or I mean, why would you have to sign up? I guess would be my question. Can't you just do it? I mean, I'm sure you can, but do you win something? Is it like a, I don't know, tell me. Why would you have to sign up to do 24-hour comic book? All right. Some gain superpowers called wild cards, others are just freaks known as jokers, and others gain minor powers called deuces. Huh. Gotcha, that's cool. So that's why it's called wild cards. I get it. That's cool. Alright. Gotta find my vanishing point. My horizon line is over here. I drew some lines already, but now I just gotta figure out where the heck. I didn't make a point. Looks like right about there. That is it. Of course, I was just sketching that, and that does not go to that point. The lesson to take away here, folks, is always know where your horizon line and your vanishing point are, so you can easily reference them and draw your lines. Don't do what I do. But as I mentioned before, when I'm doing perspective, I always kind of I rough it in first, like just lightly. Because if I just draw a big grid, I cannot, for the life of me, it's hard for me to envision what the buildings are going to look like, because I like to have different variations. You know, each block of buildings I want to look a little bit different, just so they're, you know, it's just not all the same thing and all flat. But if I just draw a grid, I have trouble visualizing, you know, what I want to do. So I tend to be very rough with my stuff. The rough stuff. And then this, let me see here. And it's not perfectly straight either. It's kind of at an angle. All right. All right, there's my little building rough. Some shops have giveaways and your book can get archived at the Ohio State University campus library. That is cool. Nice. You win a prize, Eric. Well, I imagine only some people win prizes. Same here, Eric. I can't draw grids. It's hard for me to use them, so I draw my backgrounds freehand and help from my ruler. That's how I do it, man. Good old ruler helping us out. Some people use that program. I think it's Adobe. Gosh. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Sorry, guys. I can't think of the name of it. It's a, you know, a 3D creating program, and you could, you know, generate buildings and stuff and all kinds of stuff like that. I do not use that. If I'm going to use a computer to help me with perspective or buildings, I honestly will just find a building that I like just a photo of it, and then I'll just go from there and just kind of look at the architecture and just copy it that way. But I tried doing the program that I can't think of, sorry. And it just took me too long to figure out and to actually, you know, get what I want. So I'm like, you know what, it's going to take me way too long, and I'm going to have to just forget this. I think I did a free trial of it or something, but I still get emails all the time from them, and I ignore them. Mighty Geek Studio says, the times I participated, I've gotten free comic books, and 2 years ago, DC Comics had made blank Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman comics. Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yep. SketchUp. Thank you, Rooster Puncher. SketchUp. That's it. Hey, Rooster Punch. Hey, now I talk. SketchUp. That's it. Yeah. And maybe, you know, I could have been doing it wrong. I don't know. But it just, there was buildings you could generate, you know, but it was like, you'd have to print it out, you know, if you're going to like copy it or something, or, you know, get it to your page and then you trace over it or whatever. I'm like, I'm just going to get a stinking Google image, man. Forget this. Create my building in SketchUp. But for architecture people and, you know, you want to create like a cityscape thing, it's like perfect for that. The perspective tool on Procreate is great for blocking stuff out, but too many people use it as a crutch. I could see that. I messed around with Procreate for a little bit when I was trying to figure out if I should get a Microsoft Surface Pro or an Apple iPad. I went with the Microsoft Surface Pro, and then I just talked to my friend, and he's like, yeah, man, you should have got the iPad for Procreate. But it's all right. Maybe sometime down the road I can fix that mistake. So on the Microsoft Surface Pro, which is what I'm actually using to record right now, I downloaded Photoshop on it, and it was the only tablet/laptop that I could download Photoshop on. So I'm like, you know what? I'm used to Photoshop. I like Photoshop. I'm going to get the Surface Pro. And so I got it, but when I'm using the pen on it, it was in order to turn off the touch of the screen, or there's something weird that was like coinciding with Photoshop, and the pen wasn't responding properly. So I looked it all up and researched it, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna have to like go back in and into the code and turn this off and blah blah blah. And I'm like, whatever. So I ended up just stopped using Photoshop on it, and I just use it for other stuff. Yeah, and it does have a sketch app on it that I do use. So, you know, if I do want to sketch stuff, and that works pretty well with the pen, it's responsive. So if I do want to do some sketching on the Surface Pro, I just use that. But anywho, yeah. Procreate is on another level now with the animation tools and new graphics engine. Yeah. Nice. Doing good. Just getting some writing done and saw Eric was live. Cool deal. All right, so this is probably as far as I will take it. I might want to block out some windows, but I'm just gonna leave this as is, and I'm gonna go over to my page 6 and do some, I'll ink the background on that, and then I will be done for today's stream. How's that? Eric, do you have any ideas for Shadow Sentry issue number 2? I sure do, man. So the first story arc is pretty much, you know, written out, figured out. Not 100%, but I still have to do just refine the dialogue and such. But yeah, issue 2 is ready to go. Again, that would because I originally planned it out as like issues, so it would have been 4 issues would have been the first story arc, maybe 5, you know, but so that's all kind of planned out. And then after that, I have ideas as well. And like I mentioned, that would get more into the military background of Noble and then all that stuff. And then I would bring in, they're called the XI Hunters, and that's the military group tasked with hunting down the Hellborn and the Highborn. Because after the first story arc, basically the Hellborn and the Highborn show up on the scene, and really they've never been in the spotlight before. They've never, you know, made a lot of news where it's like, oh wow, there's these superpowered beings or whatever. So the first story arc kind of brings them to the forefront, and then the military is like, oh wow, we need to, you know, hunt these guys down. But and then it kind of gets into the background of Commander Noble and where he came from and the people who he was with, because Commander Noble kind of shows up on the scene again. They're like, oh man, we need to get him. And oh wow, there's more of them. Let's get the rest of them too. So yeah, so that's kind of where it's going. All right, let's get my trusty tool here. So I'm just going to outline the buildings first, and then I'm going to go in and then draw all the windows and add all the lines and all that stuff. And then part of this, a lot of the tops, the tall buildings will be like normal, but then the buildings that are a little bit lower on the skyline there are going to be darker and thicker blacks, a lot of blacks, all that stuff. So that's my plan, man. So that way kind of the silhouette or the blacks will kind of make the front of this building kind of come into the foreground a little bit more. So that's my thinking there. A water tower, just because water towers are cool. I would love to draw like a Batman series just so I could draw water towers in Gotham City. And dirigibles in the sky. Yeah. I actually did some sample Batman pages for Batman Arkham Knight. The editor sent me over a sample script, and I did Batman Arkham Knight. I think it was issue, I forget. It might have been issue 1. I don't know. Anyway, if you want to check them out, go to my DeviantArt page, and you can get there by going to ericnotowskiart.com. I think I have the link for my DeviantArt page on there. I don't know if they've changed the way you search for artists on DeviantArt, but my name is Savior's Son on DeviantArt. So I don't know if you actually, if you Google Eric Minoltowski, I think DeviantArt, my DeviantArt stuff will pop up on there. I don't know. I haven't done it in a while, but yeah. I have so many links on my webpage. I'm sure DeviantArt. Oh, you know what it is? I know what it is. So I have like the little icon links on my webpage, but if you have to actually go to, there's a, in the menu, it says links. So go to there, and then that's where it'll have the DeviantArt link. That's what it is. Because Facebook and Twitter, they have the built-in, icons and stuff, and you can just plug in your info. But I don't think I did one for DeviantArt, so that's why that's different. But I made one for like Redbubble and a few of the other websites, but I didn't do one for DeviantArt. Really dig my Snake Plissken piece. Thanks, man. Drawn and quartered. I got the gold on that one. That one was fun. Night Hawk Warrior, how many issues of Shadow Sentry do you have planned out? Like final, I would say 2 books, 2 48-page books, and then the rest are just kind of like, ideas. Nothing, does that make sense? But it's an ongoing series, so I mean, it's one of those books that can just keep going and going. Like the X-Men stuff, it's my plan. If all goes well, if I get funded, it's gonna just run and run and run. And it's such a wide, world, and that's why I wanted to do the Shadow Sentry idea first, because it could just go on and go on and go on. And I have a lot more characters to add in the coming issues and all that kind of stuff. So it'll definitely be a fun book. It can have a lot of offshoots and all that stuff that I mentioned last time I was with you guys, I think. But yeah, and I'm really excited about it. So if I can get there, that would be awesome. If I can get to book 3, let's say, that's when things start to get fun and interesting. So I hope we can get there. And I try to do some ruler stuff, but then also freehand stuff, so that way, the freehand stuff is looser and it kind of looks cool. You can get more lines in there and add little stuff. Rooster Puncher says, I mostly write letter and color. I have a couple books at Alterna. Awesome. That's cool. What are they called? All right, let's see here. Get this one back here. Oh, and check out Drawn and Quartered tonight, guys, if you can. Tonight is going to be Calvin and Hobbes, because Mike is doing Bless This Mess in the Watterson type style. So that'll be fun. I'm going to do my own style. And I think I'm going to draw Calvin and Hobbes is like, kind of picture them like in the Savage Land, and like, or I was gonna have a little cartoon of them like up in the corner or the bottom corner, like them thinking like, what are we gonna look like in 20 years, man? And then like have like, you know, them all jungled out and like just cool looking, like something out of an X-Men book. I don't know. That was my thought. That's what I was thinking. All right. Okay. Stuff. Eric is on my list of dudes I'd like to work with at some point. That's cool. Awesome, man. Void Walker and Can't Kill Cade. Currently, I did colors on later issues of Scrimshaw. Nice. And I'm working on a team book called Hellseekers with Vince Rush. Nice. Cool deal. Zach Bradley, what's going on? Exactly, Calvin and Hobbes Jim Lee style. I challenge you. Challenge accepted, my friend. Zach is going to do a Calvin and Hobbes Frank Frazetta style. So, you know that's going to be awesome. So check out Drawn and Quartered tonight. Roscoe Davis, what's up? As far as I know, it's on indefinite hiatus, but I'm just a contractor on that one. Scrimshaw. Well, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Yep. Before I started Shadow Sentry, I finished a 6-book series with a guy who's just gonna pitch his idea to publishers like IDW and probably Image and maybe Aspen. But yeah, that was a fun one. Can't really say too much about it though, because I don't know. I signed an NDA, so you know. All I'll tell you is it's about a kid superhero who takes over after the other guy gets hurt. But it's only like a short thing, and then he like gets famous and blah blah blah. But it's kind of cool. But that's all I can say about that. And go. Little diagonal there. Add a little something something. Roscoe Davis is eating lunch at work. Munch crunch, my friend. Eat well. Rooster Punch says, we're building our own little shared superhero universe at Alterna with all the different books I'm writing and slowly building out the roster of creators and characters. Ah, that's cool, man. Very cool. Well, let me know if, you know, if anything opens up and you need a penciler / inker artist guy. Might be available sometime, maybe, if Shadow Sentry doesn't get funded. If it does, I'm going to be busy for a while. And then I still, I did a Samson series with a guy, and he has another book he wants to do, so might do that eventually. And then plus the guy I just finished this 6-issue series for, he has another story written out and ready to go that I could potentially work on, but again, everything's kind of hinging on the Shadow Sentry here. So the plan is to get funded and work on this again and again and again and again. And then maybe down the road hand it off to an artist or something to keep running, and I could do maybe some other offshoots or other stories that I have ideas for. But that's like long term. That's way down the way. Gotta establish the Shadow Sentry. Get some books under my belt. Eric, do you plan to have your Shadow Sentry series published by Alterna? I haven't really thought about publishing it. I would like to have it distributed though, eventually. But there are some guidelines for like diamond publish or distribution that you have to have a set number of pages. I think it's maybe 60 pages if you're not if you don't have a well-known publisher, if you're not like a well-known book or whatever. That's what somebody told me once, I think. So you have to have a certain page count, and you have to have the book finished, things like that. So I definitely want to have it distributed, but published, I don't know. That's kind of, we'll have to see. But it's always an option. R2D2 for life is here. Shadow Sentry is going to get funded if I have anything to say about it. Thank you, my friend. I know it. So you're constantly promoting it and tweeting it and Instagramming it. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. And if Eric successfully crowdfunds Shadow Sentry, Peter is doing a lot of that now. All right, cool. So Peter Smeti is publishing a lot of the Comicsgate books, or what? Or is he just like, I should probably tweet at him and see if he can tweet out Shadow Sentry for me. That'd be cool. He seems like a really nice guy. I may have met him at San Diego Comic-Con one year, but I don't remember. I think it was Alterna. There was one year I was like going around to all the different publishers and just kind of showing my artwork and stuff. And so I may have met him, but I do not remember. It's funny, like most of the people I know, it's just, oh yeah, I talked to him on Twitter. Oh yeah, I follow him on YouTube, whatever. It's a lot harder getting on Diamond on your own with soliciting way in advance, but Peter does reprints on newsprint to reach a wider audience. Nice, that's smart. Not just explicitly Comicsgate, he doesn't care what your affiliation is. Nice. Looking for good books, so it's worth a shot. All right, cool. Yeah, if it gets funded and we go to print, I will hit him up. Cool deal. All right, now, so this is kind of blocked in, and then I'll just have to go in and place my black areas in there. And I'll do that with my trusty old Prismacolor fat marker here. And then we'll be ready to go. Yeah, guys, so if you are available tonight, check out Drawn and Quartered on Mike's Blacklist Universe channel. It starts at 7 Pacific Standard Time. And I know Zach Bradley will be there. I'll be there. I think Matt Costin will be on tonight. Kevin Sharp. Cage. Who else? Is Weldon going to be on tonight? I forget. I think he said he would be available. So it should be fun. We got the gang. And if you want to see a Jim Lee, Calvin and Hobbes, come check it out. Is that rapidograph you're using? No, this is a Micron Pigma, size 02. Pretty much in my arsenal, I just have the microns. I use these cool Bemoji pens. They have a really good brush that I like to use for my holding lines. And then, like, if I have a lot of thick black areas, I'll use the Prismacolor, their black marker. Just because, yeah, there was a time when I was just using Sharpie, but it's not archival safe, so I don't want it to fade over time. So that's why I use the Prismacolor. I actually used to have a set of Rapidograph pens when I was in high school that my grandfather bought me. I took them to school for whatever reason, probably because I was, you know, excited about them, gonna use them and draw in art class, and someone stole them. I think when I was in, I think it was gym class, someone stole them. So that was the last time I used the Rapidograph pens. That was it. And I was actually drawing, at the time I was drawing a cool Spawn picture. Let me see, let me think if it's anywhere handy. Let me see here. Nope, it's not gonna be there. Anyway, it's like one of the only Spawn pictures I have. It's I did it in high school, and I actually made a print of it that I take to all the conventions because it came out pretty good. So I got it colored, and it's what I take. It's my Spawn print. It's probably on DeviantArt, but it is on my website. Faux show. I know Mike confirmed he would sign his variant cover. Did you have an opportunity to ask Weldon or Kevin the same? Well, the nice thing about Mike is he's local. Like, we're really close to each other, so I could honestly just drive over to his house and have him sign all the copies that I sell of his variant. With Weldon, I thought Weldon was in San Diego, but I think he's not. He's somewhere else. I forget where. But same thing with Kevin. If they're gonna sign them, I'd have to ship them to him. So I don't know if I want to do that, only because then I'm, be worried about them getting damaged in the mail, and then I'm out however many comics. You know what I mean? So I'll definitely have Mike do them. If there's a way to get Kevin and Matthew to sign them, I would consider it. Like if we're at like a convention together, that'd be super nice and easy, but we'll see. That Kevin Sharp cover is killer. Yes, it is. Are you going to do that Spawn drawing from your Inktober sketchbook as a print with the Savage Dragon? I thought about it, and I really like that image, but the only thing is, because I drew it so small that if I blew it up to 11 by 17, I'm not sure it would hold up. Could though. I could check it out because I like how that came out. There's a lot of pictures in there that I like how they came out. The Weapon X one, that one's cool. That's a good one. I don't have any Weapon X prints, so. And actually, I thought about blowing this one up. This is a Marvel Beginnings sketch card that I did. This is a artist proof, but I like the way this came out. But what I could do is I could blow it up on Blue Line and then just re-ink it, at a bigger size. But that's a cool one. So that's that. I also did Maverick Marvel Beginnings. So you have received a hand-drawn one-of-a-kind Marvel art sketch card. Marvel Beginnings. This was my first sketch card set that I did. Marvel Beginnings. There you have it. All you West Coast dudes lucky you aren't freezing to death like us in New England. Oh man, you're in New England? Oh man, I feel for you, bro. I grew up in New Jersey and I went to college in Boston, so I know how that weather is, man. And I'm woo. I'm glad that I only spent a little bit of time there. We're spoiled here on the West Coast. The worst we get is like 32-degree nights. The mornings are cold and then it just heats right up, and then it'll be like 70s. We're spoiled, but we pay for it. We pay for it. All right. Cool. I'll ink the top of that building and boom, boom. Those prints would be good stretch goal ideas. Prints of Shadow Sentry pages would be a cool stretch goal. Ah, that'd be cool. It was 82 here yesterday. Where are you at, Humphrey Bear? Are you on the West Coast? If it's your first, just keep chipping away at a pace that works for you. Don't worry about meeting anyone else's expectations. Just keep working and finish it, Nighthawk. True that. Good advice. Ding, 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 ding. I do have a print stretch goal. I forget what stretch goal that is, but I do have a print that I like to do for a stretch goal, as well as I'll probably at some point before the campaign ends, I'll probably do perks where you could just, if you want to get a print, might do a t-shirt, just little things like that for anybody who has backed and they want to get something a little extra. You know, I want to make little things available that would incentivize people to get back on and you know, if they want to get something else. So that was that thought I had. And then if I end up doing trading cards, I might do a perk where you can get all the trading cards, so that way you have the whole set. Otherwise, if it's just the stretch goal, you'll get, you know, 1 or 2 automatically, but then have a perk where if there's a bunch of, like if we do drawn and quartered and I can get a bunch of artists to do like trading card things with it, then I'll like offer them, you know, one set thing. So that was an idea I had. Today's the warmest it's been in months, and it's 52. Oh man, cool as hell here too in Minnesota. Man, I feel for you guys. Sorry. All right, well, I'm gonna end today's stream here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you have not already, please do check out the Shadow Sentry campaign. Please share it out if you have backed already. I would appreciate it, just to get the word out. Keep growing. Let's hit that 10,000 mark. And yeah, so thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys are excited as I am, and keep checking back in on my videos as I ink more pages and stuff. I'll scan this in today and print it out and start inking this shortly. And yeah, as soon as I get the colors back for the first cover, for my regular cover, I'll post that out, and I'll do an update on the campaign as well, so everybody can see those awesome colors, because I know they're gonna rock. So yeah, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much. King Crow asks, what is that ruler you were using? Oh man, this is my favorite ruler right here. This ruler rolls. So like literally I could just put it down, draw my line, scoot it down, draw my line, scoot it up, and I could just, you know, as long as they're all in the same area, I could just roll it and it'll keep the, you know, the right straight edge I need. Don't know what it's called, but you can probably find these anywhere. So I love this for drawing, you know, straight lines, and I use it for drawing my borders and my gutters. It's awesome. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Rooster Punch, for checking out the stream. You guys have a great day. Stay healthy, stay warm, and God bless. Till next time. See you.